So 2 days of judging here at Schloss Grafenegg. Junior,
Wonderful place.
isn't it gorgeous? You've overseen both panels across both days. What are your impressions?
I think the overall impression is very high standards. We expected that, but I think the medals for themselves in terms of golds and silvers are phenomenal, especially silvers, which we know it's a very strict competition. We're all good judges, very strict judges, and silver medal it's not easy to get, but I've never seen so many silver medals in a competition before.
So for me, I think the main takeout from the last couple of days is the diversity within the regions within Austria. It's my first time here, and it's been a great kind of immersion into all of the wines that the country has to offer. And yeah, for me it was the really distinct styles of Gruner from Kemstal, from Kramtal. You know, I think that was my main takeout.
Yeah, and Luke, a different perspective for you in your day job with wine lists in beautiful country hotels. You know, again, what are your perceptions of what you've tasted?
I think I would have to echo the whole panel and consistency and high quality. I think there's tremendous opportunity at the hotels to show this diversity, show something unique, interesting, you know, highlighting these indigenous varieties and styles that are slightly off-piste but relatable, and there is definitely a gap.
Very gastronomic.
Really gastronomic wines.
So
a lot of
food
these wines
friendly.
are food friendly, but also delicious on their own. I think there's like versatility here is second to none. So there's tremendous opportunity.
So you can't talk Austria without talking Gruner Veltliner. It's the signature grape variety of this country, and what a grape it is. You know, it's so versatile. Junior, Gruner, where does it sit and how's it performed?
As you said, it's quite difficult to pinpoint because the variety itself is so versatile, from really zingy, fresh, vibrant, like citrus and green apple, to like richer, more opulent styles. So within those two quite different styles, there's all bits in between. And even in soil profiles, if you take Gruner from Leus, and the structure of the wine is one. It's very perhaps more floral, more apple, more white flesh fruit. And then you get into the granite, and you get wine with much more assertive structure, which goes back to what you said earlier. With the wines will be gastronomic and with that lovely vibrancy of fruit. But the difficulty is to pinpoint the style, but the beauty of it is the versatility that you can go just having a Gruner just by the glass as a wine to refresh yourselves, and that's really a serious Gruner to have with food, and the wines to age, amazing potential for ages. So Gruner is a wonderful variety.
Rebecca, you trade in fine wines from all over the world. Where does Gruner sit in that portfolio?
That's an interesting question, because I've been actually really wowed by the quality of styles that quality and style that we've had here during these last couple of days, and it's so impressive, the range of styles, I think, and qualities throughout these flights that we've had. I think that in terms of the on-trade sector, which we supply throughout the UK and beyond, there is such a huge potential for Gruner in terms of an upsell by the glass option, and that kind of thing, whether it's the sort of more straightforward styles or the more powerful styles, but also in terms of drinking at home, our private customers. I do think that there is great potential, because so many of these wines, it's not just about the kind of distinctive primary fruit profile, but the texture. These are such textural wines. They've got so much class and guile, and they're so impressive and subtle. And I think it's using so many adjectives is always a marker that there's something more going on. And I just think that there is so much reason for Austria's Gruner Veltliners to be taken seriously.
Gruner's been talked about for a long time as a sort of breakthrough grape. What's the key to success for Gruner?
For us, I mean, we sell quite a lot of Gruner. It really appeals to a slightly more adventurous supermarket customer, one who possibly is looking for something outside of Sauvignon Blanc, Albarino, Verdecho, but it's got that kind of zippiness and that freshness which we know works really well with UK consumers.
And Luke, a great by the glass grape. What's the key for by the glass success for Gruner?
Well, I think echoing what Sam was saying about people that are looking for something different, Gruner is a discovery wine, or to a lot of people, a lot of our guests, it still would be considered a discovery. So I would encourage sommeliers, when looking at their wine lists and looking at pivoting from other comparable styles, Albariños, Pools, that Gruner could be a really hot spot on your wine list for by the glass. It's almost a gateway into the rest of Austria as well.
There's always somehow with Austria you've got this sense that okay, you're gonna have quality, you're going to have texture, you're going to have aroma, and so therefore, you know, if you are going out a little bit on a limb in terms of a grape variety which you can barely pronounce, you know, especially, you know, for Brits who don't speak, most people don't. But anyway, you can come back to that reassurance that it's going to be fundamentally delicious.
The standard of Austrian wines
that's what I'm trying to
are
get to.
high, and even if they take a risk, they are sort of have that safety net, which is interesting.
Yeah, you only have to look at the silver haul.
Yeah, incredible.
Really bloody difficult even to get a silver at the IWSC, and there's a huge number of silvers.
I've never seen nothing like it, and it shows the quality of the overall quality of what the country is producing.
So Austria, most famous for its white wines in export terms, but there are some fantastic red wines here, Junior.
Well, we had some wonderful Pinots. We had some Sauvignon, which were very good, and we had quite a few Zweigels, which offers that, as we're talking about consumers, we're here trying to guide the consumers and what people drinking, mostly Malbecs. And Zweigel has that drinkability, that roundness, that exuberance of fruit, and we had some really good examples of that, and also some blends.
I've just been really wowed by the way in which, you know, the textural quality and the sense of freshness, you know, in a warming world, has come across in this last couple of days.
Yeah, and letting the terroir shine, speak for itself. Yeah.
Sense of place.
Luke, you talked earlier on about a voyage of discovery and how consumers love that. And what's your advice from the perspective of the Pig Hotels, you know, a fantastic brand of aspirational places to stay in the UK? What would be your advice to producers here to get onto your list?
Thank you very much. I would offer the advice of continuing to offer value. I would offer the advice to encourage by the glass listings with sommeliers. And my final point is really to try and spend the time with sommeliers and simplify some of the complexity and nuance of Austria. It could take a lifetime to understand the nuance of detail in Austria, but it does make a lot of sense when you spend the time. So I think encouraging producers, the Wine Board of Austria, to spend time in the trade, getting sommeliers on board with our diversity, with the diversity of styles, with the nuance of detail. So value, encouraging them by the glass, and spending time to simplify the nuance and complexity.
Simplifying the message and also the label. We had a discussion yesterday. We spoke to a producer. We're talking about a different language, and it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming for English-speaking people. And this producer had just simplified the terms of the vineyard and so on, which makes it more friendly for an English consumer, for an American consumer. We're talking globally. So that's apart from what you said, is try to simplify the message.
I think that's so incredibly relevant for national retail. You know, we don't all have the opportunity to hand sell a product, so producers need to make it as easy as possible for a customer to pick something up off the shelf. And you know, in its simplest terms, Gruner can be pronounced by an English person who might have, you know, not studied German or Austrian German, and I think that is such a strength, and you know that you really need to trade on that and make it easy for shoppers, because it's it's a challenging category, and Austria itself is a challenging category. So, like you both say, through packaging, through labelling, make it easy for customers to spend the money.